The fiction writer Maxwell Conroe had to walk back home for 5 miles over a dirt track in pitch darkness. A fit person with good vision can walk the route in about an hour or two, but not until sunrise would Maxwell re-emerge from the mountains. The strange thing is that his mind continues to make up stories about what happened to him on that memorable night. Let me read for you how the fiction writer Maxwell Conroe recollects the events in his story entitled A Stalking. All of a sudden, someone lights a lantern, a bit further down the path, at maybe 90 feet from my position. The lantern swings from left to right, and then veers off track, up a gentle slope. What am I to do? Should I follow the person carrying the lantern? Is this real, or just an illusion? I remember staggering down the dirt trail heading toward Agua Amarga, a popular tourist village perched at the Mediterranean seaboard in southern Spain, where I was renting an apartment. I had ventured out for a hike, but had not anticipated to meet old friends along the way. We had more than a couple of drinks. One might say I was pretty much high on a few drinks, in excellent spirits, but I could not think straight at all. When I had hugged my friends farewell, one by one, and declined their friendly offer to drive me home, I set out on my nightly journey. I wanted some fresh air that would drive out the fog in my head. Not until I was outside on the dirt track did it occur to me how dark it was. This was a moonless night, pitch dark, and mostly dead silent, except for my own heavy breathing. It was December, and the temperature at night became pretty low, but still bearable. I heard my own giant footsteps shift the gravel every step. Every now and then, I thought I heard more than just my own footsteps. I would abruptly stop, just to test my theory that someone was following me. Yes, I would hear one more step after I stopped, but then nothing was heard next. I would start walking again, and then immediately would be hearing the extra pair of steps behind me. I would stop again, and yes, always one extra step was heard. To challenge my senses, and anyone out there, I asked, "Who are you?" Not a peep was heard. I was basically talking to my own imagination. I am not easily scared, but an eerie feeling crept up on me. I kept hearing more steps than just my own. Who else could be walking here in the creepy darkness? At some point, I decided to walk back, to confront my own imagination and prove that my mind, being messed up by a few drinks, was the cause of this hallucination. Sure enough, I now heard many steps other than mine. Someone or something ahead of me started running away from me, but I was still not sure whether this was just my imagination. On the other hand, the sound of footsteps was all too real. What was going on here? Should I pursue my nightly stalkers, or should I turn back and just continue my journey? What if these stepping sounds would keep coming after me? Would I get scared? Could something untoward happen to me out here? I stopped moving and tried to hold my breath so I could hear well any sound in my surroundings. At first, it seemed dead quiet. But then, I heard some sand and gravel shuffling again. I estimated the distance to the source of the sound being maybe no more than 25 feet away. All of a sudden, someone flashed a lantern. This was a bit further down the path, at maybe 90 feet from my position. The lantern swung from left to right, and then veered off track up a gentle slope. What was I to do? Should I follow the person carrying the lantern? Was this real, or was it just an illusion? Could this be some sort of alcoholic delirium, perhaps? My instincts told me to stay put, but when the person carrying the lantern uphill stopped moving, the lantern swayed gently, rocking back and forth in a patient way. It was as if the light source was telling me, "Don't fear. Trust me. You'll be safe." Just follow me." I made 2, maybe 3 steps toward the direction of the lantern. Then I stopped. Nothing changed at the lantern's side. It just kept swinging. I took a couple more steps. Then I stumbled. Damn it! I should not have drunk so much wine. In fact, I was losing my sense of direction altogether. I was lying in the sand, face down, and was struggling to turn myself onto my back. But my sense of orientation was so confused, I hardly knew which way to turn. All I heard was the noise of the gravel and sand that I was now shifting with my boots, hands, and body. One thing was clear. I was vulnerable, helplessly vulnerable, all the way out here in this remote, pitch-dark gorge named Cañada de Mendez. I was not carrying anything of value, but my life was dear to me. I could be killed by a weirdo out here. And what happened to the damned lantern? I turned around and round and round. Whatever direction I peeked into, no lantern was to be seen. I sat on my butt in the gravel bed and once again tried to quietly listen whether I heard other sounds than just my own breathing. Did I hear anything strange? All of a sudden, I definitely heard something running toward me. But it was not the sound of human footsteps. This was something else. Then it hit me. I toppled over. On top of me was a heavy creature, licking my face with a wet, sticky tongue. It was panting and kept licking me all over. This was a dog. Can you imagine being licked by a dog in pitch darkness that came out of nowhere? I thought I'd better make friends with this creature. "Hello, buddy," I tried. "Oh, yes, buddy." The dog was easing up a bit on the licking. I pushed it away, but it kept scouring onto me from every possible angle. I grabbed its neck and then started patting its flanks while stroking its head. The dog was being reasonable. It was certainly not out to shred me to pieces. "How do you like Doris?" said a female voice out of the dark. I was stunned, but recollected myself. "Oh, is that your dog? I think she's great." Then I started to laugh. I guess my intoxicated state and some rudimentary sense of fear made me just laugh in an uncontrollable kind of way. The laughter ended up in a deep coughing. Then I tried to focus again on my surroundings. I still could not see anything, and I was still sitting on my butt in the gravel of the dirt road. "How are you?" I tried. "And, by the way, my name is Maxwell. Who, may I ask, are you?" I was not expecting to meet anyone so late at night in this abandoned dry riverbed. "What brings you here?" I hoped to hear that female voice again, because, if not, I was definitely going mad. But only silence followed. "Hi there. I thought we were just getting to know each other. Why are you making a fool of me?" I tried in vain. Silence. 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 Then I heard footsteps again. These were human steps, and Doris followed the steps. These steps moved away from me. I was confused. What should I do next? Get back on my feet and resume my journey to Agua Amarga as if nothing had ever happened? "Hey! Hello! Please do not leave me alone!" I yelled. The lantern suddenly reappeared, but now about 150 foot away, at the same uphill trail as before. The lantern gently swayed back and forth. "I'd better follow that light," I thought. "This is a divine symbol. Let's trust my instincts. I should be fine." I stumbled toward the light of the lantern. I tried to recompose myself. "Let's enjoy this nightly adventure," I thought, as I slowly felt my way across the rocky terrain toward the lantern, which swirled around and started to move ahead again. The lantern, of course, was carried by a person. I could see a faint, very dark silhouette of someone wearing a cape and a cap. I knew that the hilltops in this area were not exceptionally high, so we should summit at some mesa any time soon. Then I crashed into the ground again. I had stepped onto a loose boulder and tumbled over. I decided to give my body time to feel if anything was broken. I desperately wanted to escape from my predicament. Should I just fall asleep and resume my journey the next morning at first daylight? Doris was now barking. The sound came from the area uphill. The lantern was gone again, or at least I could not find an angle of view that captured the lantern's light. I must have passed out, for, indeed, I did not come to until first daylight. Wow, I was so utterly cold. I felt like I'd frozen to death. A faint headache reminded me of our enthusiastic wine consumption of last night. Here I was. Good boy, let's take this defeat in stride, I thought. I started rubbing my cold ears. My hands were colder than my ears, so it only hurt them when I touched. Trying to warm them. I better try rubbing my hands warm first, I thought. Finally, I somehow got back up to my feet again and took a deep breath of fresh air. I decided to explore where the uphill trail would lead me to. At least I could walk straight now. After about 20 minutes, I reached the mesa. The trail went right across, so I just moved on to satisfy my curiosity. I remembered my nightly encounter. Sure enough, just over the other edge, there was a small, secluded canyon with a massive oak, obscuring almost completely from view a small adobe house. I slowly approached the house and said, "Hola, hay alguien aquí?" There appeared a flecked dog that ran toward me. "Doris!" I exclaimed. She jumped energetically against me and barked a few times, welcoming me. Then Doris ran off and disappeared into the house. I moved toward the doorway. The door stood ajar. Should I just step inside? I knocked firmly on the door. No response. I moved inside. "Hello?" I tried. "Hello? How are you?" I kept searching my mind for what happened next. I've been searching for clues for a long time. The truth is, I cannot remember exactly what happened to me in that little house under the oak tree. Somehow, a time gap of 3 days occurred in my whereabouts. How would you, if I may ask for some welcome alibi, explain the gap?